Hello there. It is May 30th of 2025. Sorry, a little something in my eye here. That's better. Yeah, so it is around 3:15 or so, 3:20 right now in the afternoon. Obviously not morning. It's too bright outside for that. So yeah, I had work yesterday. Nothing too bad, but I guess I was definitely pretty tired because, um, I went to bed at like 10:30 or so, which is not very common for me to go to bed at that time at all. Um, pretty rare most of the time. No doubt. And so anyways, yeah, I went to bed at 10:30 or so, and woke up at 6. Well, it was a little after 6. It was probably close to 6:10 or so, but no, it wasn't too bad anyways that I did that. So anyways, I had to go downstairs pretty soon after I used the bathroom just to make sure I got my laundry because I didn't have I didn't have the clothes I need to wear for work today. They're clean, so I'm glad I had started laundry last night and I switched it over at some point or another. But anyways, so yeah, ended up not going to work today because just raining a ton. Now it's not been raining here for the last, I don't know, probably the last like hour or two, maybe a little bit more than that, but it was definitely raining quite a bit for a while. I wish it would continue, but whatever. Probably should check the mail at some point. Let's be real. Anyways, I guess I was really tired still even then, cause like, so I went downstairs, right? Got my laundry, brought it back up, folded that, put it away, and then and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and have my breakfast, right? So I had some eggs, had some leafy greens, had some fruit, which I think is a banana, and what else did I have? Oh yeah, and then I had some toast with some raspberry jam on top of it. It was nice. I mean, nothing real complicated, but it's a nice little breakfast. So anyways, had that, chatted with parents for just a little bit, and then I came back up here, and then I just crashed, and then I woke up at like 1:13. Oh, 1:13. I don't know. Why did I say 13? No, I think it was, yeah, I think it was around like 1:15, 1:30 or so. And, I was like, oh wow. Yeah. Oops. To be honest, I'm still kind of tired, but I don't know if I'm gonna try to lay. I'm not gonna lay back down just yet. Anyways, my back is kind of hurting a little bit. Well, it's actually probably more my like lower neck / shoulders area. So to be mindful of that. But sometimes this can get a little hurt because I kind of just roll around or maybe lay not so those the most comfortable positions exactly when I'm sleeping. Most of the time it's fine, but on occasion it can be a little more annoying. On top of that, I also wasn't feeling too best because I got a little sunburnt, a little bit. I got bitten by a few bugs, so bit of my skin. My legs was feeling a bit itchy, so that's lovely. It's not as bad now, and I was also just feeling hot, so then I took a shower. Yeah, trying to get myself cleaned up, all that good stuff. But anyways, I'm doing better now. And I don't really know what I'm gonna do today. It feels off because wasn't feeling my best, and you know, it's also Friday, and I woke up woke up again at like 1:15 or so. So, not my best, you know. I mean, I felt like sleeping a little bit more, but I didn't think it would be for that long. I thought it would just be like maybe two, maybe 3 more hours, something like that. Cause, you know, but no, it was. Well, let me do the mental math here. Cause okay, so I woke up. I went to bed at like 10:30. Woke up at like 6:10. So that's like what? Two. It's like 5 hours and like like 40 minutes or something. I don't know. So, anyways, around that much, I think. I might have been wrong calculations, but I think it's something like that. 5 hours and 40 minutes or so, right? And then, but overall pretty close to 6 hours ish. Well, anyways, wait, does that make? No, that doesn't make sense because. Okay, let me redo that. Yeah, because 6:10 and then minus 1.5. So 7. No, it was closer to 7 hours and 40 minutes. My bad. I don't know how I miscalculated that. Anyways, yeah, so close to 7 hours and 40 minutes or so, something like that. And then I woke up at 6:10 or so, and then I went back to bed at, I think it was, I want to say probably around, I don't know, I think it was about 8. No, it was probably closer to like 7:50. So we'll just assume it was like 7:50 or so. Right. So I went back to bed at 7:50. And then woke up at like 1:15. So that's like what? It's like 4 hours and 10 minutes plus an hour and 15. So like about 5 hours and 25 minutes. So yeah, I slept for about 5.5 hours. Even though I'd already slept for close to 8. So yeah, if that tells you how tired I was. I slept for over 12 hours. Not continuously, but right, but I guess I needed it. This episode's a little weird episode. Guess you call it that. I suppose it's fair. A little weird because I'm just talking about like, oh, I just slept for this long. All the little details here with all that, but anyways. But yeah, I mean, work's not been too bad. I think probably fairly standard stuff for the most part. But I've also just been worried about I'm just trying to figure some stuff out for later this year when I go study in Sydney, Australia, and right. I'm just thinking about these different things, and I'm like, I gotta have the time to look this stuff up, and I do, and it's not an issue of that. I do have the time, but it's just like, it's just like when I'm here, like I'm also tired, you know. So whether it be like I just got home from work, or it's like, early in the morning, I don't really have enough time before I need to get going, right? But that doesn't mean I don't do a little bit here and there. Um, Maybe not as much as I should. It's continuously on my mind, but I don't always act on it. But I've still done a little bit here and there. I think I had some time. Was it like this last weekend or something like that? I want to say where I spent like, I don't know, probably wasn't like close to 2.5, maybe 3 hours. Then I just spent a little time on like the Saturday or something or whatever, just looking stuff up, right? Trying to figure a few things out. Raven went ahead and made. I mean, I don't know if it's not perfect, and I'm sure it might be something that I missed, but kind of just making a whole packing list of stuff that I'll bring, or stuff that I'll need to get while I'm there, right? And I'm pretty limited storage, so I'm only allowed to carry something, like some kind of like personal bag, like a backpack or handbag or something like that, alongside a suitcase. So I really got to figure out, like, right, like what, like what am I going to, I have to figure out what am I going to put in each of those things. I also saw something online about how, and I recommend it especially maybe because, for me going there, it will be like 3 flights. It's not just like one straight one from like, here in Kentucky to to the Sydney airport. There's like 3 flights. Because we have to go through, goes from Cincinnati to Chicago to LA, then to Sydney, and and even if I'm just mentally putting aside like my anxiety about like being on the plane, right? Because I've never been on one before, right? Or just trying to figure out what the fuck am I gonna do? What am I going to do when I'm on there, right? Will I try to sleep? Will I try to watch stuff? Will I try to look things up? Or just like try to just like mentally rehearse what I'm gonna do, once I get there, that kind of thing. But even putting that aside, right? I'm still thinking about, right, trying to navigate around in those airports, and there's this role. Well, maybe not the Cincinnati one, I don't know, but the rest of them, right? They're all pretty big, all pretty big ones, and I know, especially when I'm coming back in November, right, end of November. Right, I'll be going back through the LA one, and I don't know. I don't know how that one will be exactly. That's probably, I don't know if that one or the Chicago one is more nerve-wracking for me to think about. I think I don't think the Cincinnati or the Sydney ones really make me feel quite as anxious. I haven't really heard as much about either of those, but I have the feeling that they're probably pretty safe overall. Well, anyways, let's go through the LA one, right? And coming back, we'll go through, all the like customs stuff, and or something like that, and the whole thing of them being like, why are you, why are you back here and all that, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to stuff like that. But I will say this, so like, even though I know that there's probably a lot of things that I'm going to be or at least have a little bit of anxiety about dealing with or trying to learn or figure out, this whole trip, this whole process of the stuff, either, the whole thing with the flying or, or there are like practicalities while I'm there, right? Like transportation or food or, stuff like that. What I haven't heard my parents say is that they think that I will probably be fine. That I will probably have a really good time while I'm there. And I certainly, that's one of the things, I wanted to go there, right? Because I thought, I'd have a great experience. I'm going to end this.